Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. My word, there has been a flurry of activity at the Phineas Wright House. We've got big things happening over here. We are transitioning from our summer growing season into fall. The dahlias have all been dug up. They're prepared for winter storage, and all of their new moms and dads have come and picked them up. So if that is news to you, I have decided to complete with growing dahlias, and it has been so fascinating to hear how people respond to my decision. I've had some people ask me, why are you abandoning the dahlias? And I just thought it was so funny because I'm not abandoning the dahlias. They're flowers, and I am just ready to complete. They take a lot of work, and after all of that beautiful work, which I'm delighted to do, they bloom while I am in France. So it doesn't make any sense for me to spend hours and hours and hours and hours taking care of them and preparing them for their big moment when I'm not even there. And it reminds me of how sometimes we can let other people dissuade us from saying yes to ourselves. And I just want to encourage you and let you know that I see you in that, and that the only person that you have to convince, the only person that you have to worry about being in alignment with your decision is you. So keep going. I am cheering you on from here. Besides being complete with the dahlias, we have had so many different contractors here. Painters are doing a refresh of the inside. I have a new bulkhead door, which I'm so excited and delighted about. We've had electricians here. We've had plumbers. Oh my goodness, because some of these upgrades and repairs and refreshments have been planned, and some are not planned. So my water heater broke as I was preparing for Friendsgiving in the barn. And I know these things happen, right? Like we live in a physical world and things don't last forever. And when something unexpected comes up like that, we have a choice, and we can be frustrated and irritated that this is the fourth water heater in 12 years. But instead, I am so relieved and oddly delighted with the way that I found out about my need for a new water heater. As I was preparing dinner for Friendsgiving, we were having bourbon poached peach cobbler, and I needed to get a couple of those jars from the basement. And so I went down to the basement and noticed my water situation. And thankfully, it was not an emergency situation. It just has a slow leak. So I had this opportunity to, instead of being frustrated, be really surprised and delighted, marveled even of how gracious God was to give me the idea for a dessert option so that I could gracefully find something that needed my attention. And I'm so thrilled that it wasn't an emergency because it took 5 more days for the plumber to arrive and I would have been without water that whole time. So, all to say, we have choices. We have choices in how we respond to the things that are happening. And sometimes those are easy decisions, and sometimes they challenge us a bit. And sometimes they have us feeling like we need to convince other people to come to our way of thinking. But again, we come back to alignment. So many women that are on this podcast are prioritizing their alignment, and their stories that they share are such beautiful invitations for us to do the same. And today's guests are no different. We have two sisters with us today, the phenomenal Danielle Carter and Andi Shaughnessy. They're so fabulous. They are experts in unlikely paths, impossible odds, and showing up anyway. In 2011, their father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. And at the time, Danielle was a full time mom raising 3 kids under the age of 7 while helping with the business when she could. And Andi was building her career in sports television. As their father's health declined, and in the spring of 2012, they faced a life changing decision whether to take on Express It, the company he had built. When he passed that summer, the business entered a period of uncertainty, and they made the choice to step in. At that point, Express It was operating with just 13 drivers, 2 operations managers, and a handful of accounts across eastern Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. Despite having no prior business experience, they leaned on what they knew: hard work, resilience, and a people first approach. Fast forward to today, and Express It has grown into a thriving operation with over 200 drivers, a 14-person management team serving customers throughout the Northeast. Their journey has been anything but traditional, but it's reinforced what they believe at their core. Success is built on trust, strong relationships, and always delivering on their promises. These two powerhouses are also the host of the Unlikely Bosses podcast that you will love. You have got to get on their Instagram. They're so darling. They are always chatting while they are in their car and they're filming it, and they are so delightful. I loved this conversation. I know you will love listening. So please enjoy the Unlikely Bosses, Danielle and Andi. Andi and Danielle, I am so delighted to have you here. I am very excited about this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us. We're so excited to be here. Yes.
Yay! And it's going to be so fun to have 3 people in conversation
Yeah.
instead of 2. I love it. So I would love to just start off by asking, we'll start with you, Danielle. How are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Oh, good question. I think the timing of that question is unbelievable for us, but myself, Andy and I are really saying yes to everything business related. We're taking every meeting. We are saying yes to every opportunity. We're going to conferences, like we're getting on planes, literally. So I just think that we're both really in a place where I am too, where we're open to see what the universe has for us. And so in order to get there, we have to say yes. Put our guard down a little
Yeah.
and, not so afraid and let the fear sort of, you know, step aside for a while and kind of just be guided like it's all going to work out. So that's sort of where we are. This is our season for yes. So this is a really funny timing of this podcast.
I love that so much. And that is such a beautiful answer. It reminds me of this beautiful quote from Amber Lillystrom. She says that the yes unlocks the how. And, sometimes we're afraid to say yes because we don't know how is this all going to work
Oh
out.
my
Oh
gosh,
my
yeah.
gosh. And
Right.
should I tell my mortgage company of how I just say yes to myself and they're satisfied with that? They
Right.
like there's some angst in there. So I
Yeah,
applaud your yes. And I love that you get to do it together, which I mean, the power, I mean, I don't have a sister, so obviously the power of sisterhood, true, familial sisterhood, but this power of community is just everything.
it is. And I think we feel that more than ever now, not only with each other as being actual sisters, but the support that we've got, the momentum of people who are really believing in us right now is truly like incredible. Yeah, it's mind blowing. And I was going to say, Danielle's answer, it was a beautiful answer. She's right. And I didn't look at it like that. We are in it and we're saying yes.
And Andy, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Similarly, right? Like I think we're doing things that before I would never dream of doing, right? So we're doing our business. We've launched kind of a new brand to go alongside of the business, and fear or lack of confidence that would have played a much bigger role. And so I guess I'm saying yes to turning off that noise and saying yes to finding resources on how to turn off that noise. So, working with a coach, bettering myself, deepening my spiritual practice, whatever it is to get me to show up every day. That's how I'm saying yes. I need to do that. Otherwise, it would be no and I would regret it.
Right. Well, you're absolutely in the right room. And everyone's listening is clapping and jumping up and down to say, "Oh my gosh, you're one of us. It's
Yeah.
so fun. You're two of us," which is
Two of
even
us.
better. It's all so good. I would love to hear, and I'm sure you tell the same story over and over because everyone wants to know, like, tell me about the business and how, because it has so many beautiful aspects of legacy and innovation and solution and customer focus and
Yeah.
all of these beautiful things already built in. So I would love to hear from you about that.
It's funny when you were just saying all that, I was waiting for you to say the word life because the company has mimicked what has happened in our lives in so many ways, and also just from a timeline, right up to growth for us personally. The company was started by our dad 45 years ago, Express and Delivery. We're a same day delivery company. And he passed away 12 years ago from cancer. And Andy and I were different places in our lives. I was home raising three kids. Andy was at her dream job at the NHL. And we made the decision to come back to the company and really see what we could do. The universe had a different plan. Right after he passed away, within like 3 weeks, we had an employee leave and take the top five clients.
Oh,
One stayed. But at that moment, it really became we had to keep saying yes. And we went for it and we were christened by fire. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't know if there was going to be a business anymore. Every 30 days, we were unsure. We didn't know what a P&L was. We had to learn everything. There was no blueprint. There was no how to do it. And so we really just had to learn as we went along. And it was really hard, but Andy usually says all the time, like, we wouldn't do it any other way. So that was the back end. Andy can kind of speak to where we got to from there. But that was the beginning years. That was the first 3 years of just like learning and making mistakes. I mean, we still make mistakes, obviously, but it was intense. The pressure, the stress was real. It was strong. And then probably year 3.5, it started to turn a corner a little bit. And
that's a long time to hold your breath.
it was a
Good
long time.
job.
And simultaneously, we were grieving the loss of our dad. I went into fight or flight where I just needed to, it couldn't go down, it couldn't die with him. Like we had to fight and we had to like finish what he started. And I know her stay and the resolve, and that was a different feeling than mine. When we found out that the customers were gone, it was like, okay, I have a job. so are we really going to do this? Like, there's so much unknown. But then I always said my fear of regret outweighed my fear of failure. I was
Mm,
so afraid to regret doing it.
yeah.
That being said, once we did it, my fear of failure was sort of my driving force too. I was so afraid to fail. And that took a lot to work through. I think I still have fear of failure. I think everyone maybe does. I don't know. But those years, it was like, just let us get through a year. All right, let's just, if we could say we did it for 2 years, like then that will be a success. And so every year just got, and then it slowly started to shift. And it's like, okay, well, maybe we're gonna be here for a while. Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew how to treat people. And so
Mhm.
that is where we led.
Exactly what you were doing then.
Yeah, right. I mean, and we knew that our drivers were our biggest asset. We had two employees that stayed with Andy and I through that transition. So that's where we started.
Oh my gosh, there's so much yumminess to unpack in that, and it's so beautiful. And I know there's so much that has come since then. But just for perspective, so if the four of the top five customers were gone, how many customers stayed? And then two drivers stayed, how many employees left?
So 18 drivers, we had 18 drivers and two operations people with us. That's
Okay.
what we had left. And the client that was going to leave pivoted and decided to stay. And that is our biggest client today. That is our longest tenured relationship. That is the one we are most proud of. And so from there, today we have over 200 drivers out there and a
Amazing.
management team of 14. 14.
Wow. Well done, ladies.
Thank you.
What do you want to say to that? Like, what does that remind you of? What does that, like, should we pop some champagne again? Like, just this continuous celebration, as much as the stress and the fear, it feels continuous. When we can balance that with continuous celebration and these micro celebrations, and like you said, it was 30 days at a time where we didn't know. And then we're like, well, let's just make it a year. Well, let's just make it 2 years because that will feel like we did it.
Yeah.
And then you said at 3.5, there was some momentum. And then
Yeah.
at 3.5, there was this different trajectory. So how did you not keep moving the goalpost? Like, how did you celebrate in the process that allowed for you to hold that resonance to wait for it?
We're still learning how to do that. We're still not celebrating.
You're in the right room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's so many moments. I think there's like a few moments of this is like where you look back and you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty great. But the majority of the time, it's not that.
What would you like to take the opportunity to do with that awareness?
My recommendation would be, and I had thought about this with regards to even my children who are older, is that I never talked about the company. I didn't talk about what Andy and I were doing day to day. And that includes that for the most part was the stress, but also we didn't really share the wins
Mm.
until recently. And I think, I don't know if that was our fear of like the shoe might drop or I
Right.
don't know what it was, but I think for people, I think you're right where you need to talk about the wins. Like it's okay to be proud of that. And
Yeah.
it's okay to share that. And whether it's my kids who are like, wait, what? Or somebody else listening that are like, it's okay to say to the family or friends, like, you know what, things went really well this week. I don't know, but that would be my recommendation is to equally share the wins.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's so much power in that. And especially as you continue to say yes, and you're getting on airplanes and you're telling portions of this story over and over,
Mhm.
we can, it can solidify elements of the narrative that are actually no longer consistent with our current mindset. Like I'm relatively new to a really intentional personal development journey. I'm about
Mhm.
5 years in, and it takes me a long time to have a conversation because I'm reframing my words and my thoughts in real time. And I realized that for me, a lot of times my mindset had outgrown my habits. And even, I would say something like, oh, this property requires all of my time all day, every day, and I don't ever leave. Like, well, actually, that's not true. I've spent 24 weeks in France since October of 2021, and I've been on
Right.
so many trips just this year. And it's just interesting because we have especially a story like this where people are asking you, okay, tell us the backstory and how did you get here? And it's like,
Right.
okay, hit play and we say the things, but we have these opportunities to reframe like this did happen and where I think that we're going and how I can have a more enjoyable time on that journey from
Yeah.
where we are
Right.
now to where we're
Right.
going is I want to make sure that we're like I'm toasting myself every single day and sometimes it's a reach. Like, look at that. I appreciated the grass today.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
woo.
But that's how it should be, right? And like you said, like your path of personal development, like I feel like I've been on a path too, and that's what I'm teaching myself. That's what I'm trying to absorb. But I think until just recently applying that to the business, and you're right, even retelling this, I maybe my insecurity comes up as like, no, I don't want to talk about the successes. Like I don't that. Meanwhile, we're starting a podcast to share our story to inspire people because it's like it was terrible, but we're getting through it. We got through it. So like let us be a resource to you because we didn't have that doing it. We were craving it, right? We were in the throes and it was like, is there anyone out there that doesn't know what they're doing and doing it and succeeding?
Me.
Yeah. There's a whole community of us out there and it's just so nice to connect. And I think I just had an aha moment here that you're right. And that is something that I need to really recognize and work on.
Right? Because I think there is so much, I mean, whatever that phrase, misery loves company, it's kind of
Yeah.
like we start by we want to position ourselves as a credible expert in having this really awful experience with all the odds against us, and
Right.
yet we succeeded and we're very nice. And it's kind of like we want to lift people up, all of it, all three of us, and we're
Yeah.
doing this through a podcast, but we kind of feel like before I can lift you up, let me dig this hole and then I'm going to get down in it and then I'm going to show you how we can all rise, but we got to get
Right.
to this hole first. And of course it is this, that was a part of it, and of course tell the story, and like we get to add an and to it, like,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
like you both said, we wouldn't have wanted it any other way. And I'm so grateful to model for my kids that I'm good at this. Like,
Right.
I know what the
Right.
F I'm doing, and I'm actually not going to say anymore that I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going
Right.
to say that I am doing the best I can, and I am also, obviously, I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm also checking in and I am intentional about my practices. My commitment to myself is real, and that is why this whole thing is working. And
Yeah.
how rising tides raise all ships. Like we are doing the work. We are obsessed with the women that we are becoming in the process.
Mhm.
And we're talking to her and we're talking as her. And
Right.
because all three of us, because I've known you for 26 minutes.
But I love you
I
already.
love you back, right?
Seriously. Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
so fun because I'm
Just love you.
obviously
Yeah.
hearing it all myself as well, but we know, we know
Yeah.
all the things, but we also know who we are becoming. And
Right.
we are not telling anyone, hey, look at me, look how awful this thing was, or how my husband
Right.
left, or whatever. Like, and I'm so nice. Why would anyone leave me? Well, it
Right.
happens. So we could focus on that, but we're not saying, look at me. We're saying, come with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come with,
Yeah.
we all have a
Yeah.
story, and I see
Right.
you in that, but I really see you in who we're becoming.
Right.
Yes.
And let's go there.
Right.
Right. And that's what comes back to, you know, the sisterhood of it all, and not just being sisters, but that, and that's how we feel. Like we want people to be on the ride now because with us, because we are changing. Both, the company is certainly at a crossroad that's changing again for the better, but us individually. So like that's fun to share. That is the toast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is truly the raise the glass of champagne at that moment because, and although we lost our dad, but like that situation aside from him, like that was the best thing that could have ever
Yeah.
happened to Andy and
It's the
I.
catalyst.
And some people that would be like hard to understand, but
Yeah.
but it really truly was like the greatest gift of the loss.
Right.
Yeah.
And we cannot edit our stories
Right.
to make some random listener feel better about how it lands on their ears.
Right.
Right.
Right?
Right. That's not our job.
It's not.
No.
Oh my gosh, that's exhausting.
Yeah.
And it's keeping us from the work.
No, that Will Smith movie, is it Collateral Beauty? And that's what I
Oh,
would share in the early days. It's like after a loss, you see things differently. And then right, like you love harder, you appreciate
yeah.
things. And then, but now even like almost with 12 years, almost 13 years removed for Danielle to be able to say that, like the beauty of what's happening now. And it is because of him and what he did, but that's it's real life. It's life.
It's so beautiful. And the way that he raised you, I'm assuming, I mean, the fact that you didn't say, well, I don't want any part of this. So I'm
Right.
assuming like you guys had something very, very beautiful, and he raised you to continue this legacy. He raised you to take care of your clients, of your employees, of this beautiful ecosystem that he loved and cared for and gave life to. And he did that same thing for you. And then he gets to bring both of his babies together in this
Sure.
business with you. And of course, you're the perfect women for the job. And of course, you're the perfect team to move it where he could have never taken it. And I don't, I'm gonna cry.
I'm crying.
I feel like you
I'm
know us.
crying.
I know, I'm like, I don't know anything, and these words are just coming to me. So whoever is sending them to you, I am just here for it.
Gosh.
And like you, it really is beautiful. And he could not have done what you have done. And
No.
No, our mom
it's
says that. We say it.
No. No. We
it's
said it
true.
yesterday. We
We said it
literally said it
yesterday.
yesterday to someone. Oh my God.
Tell that story like
Yeah.
you are her.
I don't even know what to say. Thank you. That was a beautiful conversation. Truly
Yeah.
beautiful conversation.
I love you.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
and
I love
that's
you too.
right. Like
Yeah.
this is also real, right?
Right.
That
Oh.
is the beauty of, like you said, Andy, that you have these spiritual practices, and it's presence. And when
Yeah.
we are tapped in,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
we connect.
Yeah.
Like, why are you building this beautiful thing? And whatever's next, I'm eager to hear what the side alignment business is, but it's all energy. And your that energy, that is magnetizing customers. That is like, people are like, I didn't even know you guys existed and you've been in business all, yeah, yeah. Where do I sign? How
Right.
do I become the number one
Right.
client? Like, where's that?
Right.
I want you to same day deliver my peonies to my florist in Andover, because I can't do, what I'm
Right.
doing and get them to her at the same time. It's like,
Yep.
telling this story is so expansive because it's about so much more
It
than
is.
whatever we're talking about.
Right. Yeah. And you're right. And even what the situation forced us to do, which was go on our journey, right? Try to better ourselves, all of that. And then within that, applying everything we're learning to the business. And like you said, the energy, the intention. So it has shifted for Danielle and I, right? Even for our customers, right? How can we be the channel to make
Right.
them better?
That's
How
right.
can we make them better for their clients?
Yeah.
Like, because we know that's what will make us successful. But the truth is, how do we provide the best service so that they feel it? Like, and we believe that to our core. And then with that, how do our employees benefit from that? How do we change their lives? So, like, our intentions have not that it's shifted, it's always been there, but I think it's just coming to the surface and we can like articulate it better.
Yes.
But that is how we feel, and back to your point, that is how we were raised. So it's like it's always been there, and our dad's influence has always been there. It's treat people, help people in the moment. That's what made him successful, and that's just in our cells. And
Yes.
so having a lot of aha moments on
Right?
here.
No, you can no longer say we don't know what we're doing.
Right. That's the
Yeah.
truth. And that's what we
Yeah.
believe. And it's just, that's what's working.
And of course it's what's working.
Right.
It was destiny, and every single second of every single day at the
Right.
same, it was the present and the future, which,
Right.
is all present.
Right. Right.
It's so good. And the fact that you, like, this gorgeous narrative that is all about being in service to your customers, and you're looping in your employees as the pivotal role that they play in the story of our hero who is
Right.
our customer. And it's really, really beautiful. And we can all, I mean, whatever our business is, or whatever, if our business is momming, like, it's
Right.
all a part of that. It's everything that we're doing in every
Right.
day of our life, being a great friend, being a great
Right.
citizen, all of these things. But there's so much impact in the strategic way that you are doing that, and the way that you are pulling your collective efforts and collective energy into that,
Mhm.
and the beautiful result that you're seeing, let alone the ripple effects that you don't see.
Right. Truly. And I say that too every day, sort of like, help me be the best version of myself, whatever role or situation I'm in at that moment. So whether I'm a mom, a wife, a friend, a sister, right? Like, or a client or a customer. Help me be that, like, help me go get a coffee and be the best version of myself to like help them shine their light and show how great they are.
By not pissing me off. Right? It's just like so much about your intention going in.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like your customers, if they're already assuming that the delivery is late and not how it's supposed to be, I mean,
Right.
we get what we focus on. Right?
Right.
So there's
Right.
so much intention going into how you enter your day, is
Right.
absolutely how you're setting yourself up to experience your day.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yay. I'm so glad we're friends now.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the business and how this is growing and expanding, and how that coexists with this season of yes.
One of the ways that the business is growing and we're saying yes is by not being afraid to say yes to our clients for whatever they need. And whether that's us getting in the trenches and our guys are, getting in the field, Andi and I literally going out and checking on our drivers. We're saying yes to anything goes right now. We said this a week ago. We are open to anything, like whatever it takes. And so we are really saying yes. And as a result of that, we're getting more work. We're getting more opportunity to prove ourselves.
Yeah.
But that comes with us being able to say, we'll do whatever it takes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll go there. Or yes, we'll go check on that situation. Yes.
I've been saying this for a few months now. It's like we've been hiding under a rock since 2012. And we were always told, tell your story. It's a great story. And we just didn't. And so I guess we just said a big old yes. And now we're on podcasts and now we're trying to tell our story in our way. So that's a big yes, because I think I alluded to it before. That's a scary yes, right? Putting yourself out there and judgment will happen one way or the other. It's like, there's a lot of self-coaching or self-talk to be able to do that.
Right. And I think the reminders, because we have this narrative, this soundtrack that's going on that, ooh, if I say that, someone's going to think that I'm full of myself or that I don't miss my dad, or like, just,
Right.
it's nonsense.
Right.
First of all, nobody thinks that. Secondly, if they do, we both know enough to know that that has 100% to do with them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And not to do with us. And if they're triggered, they can not listen to the podcast.
Right.
Like people have so much agency, and I feel like we keep ourselves small to avoid a hypothetical situation that the odds of that actually happening are so low, but it makes a ton of sense when it's just on repeat in our own minds. But then we say it out loud and we're like, oh yeah, never mind. It's not gonna, I thought that if I spoke freely on my own podcast about my experience going through a 3-year divorce process and a 22-year marriage that was lacking in things that I needed, that if I actually said what my experience was, that would somehow make my divorce settlement, that I would lose the house that he doesn't want anyway, and that I wouldn't get to be with my daughter. Which, I mean, you guys don't know anything about me and know that that is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, my lawyer when I finally had the courage to tell my lawyer what I was afraid of, she said, Wendy, do you have any idea what you would have to do for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to take your daughter away from you? And I said, no. And she said, well, then you don't have to worry, because that's never going to happen.
Right.
But it's like we think someone's going to think this, or if I tell someone our company's successful, what are they going to do? And are they even my client? Like, do they need same day delivery service in the greater Boston area? Because if they're not, it doesn't really matter. I think. I get it. You have to hear it often.
You do. And from different people too. Reaffirming it is nice to hear, right? Like you have our core, and we know, like but it's hard to accept.
Right. To believe it.
I was just going to say, saying yes this season to us and what we're doing and telling our story, what we feared, I don't think we ever thought how much joy it was actually going to bring us. How much fun. That was never on the table.
That's a good one.
And so, like, I can see that from you, how much fun you're having doing this. Like, when we thought, okay, let's tell our story, it was, okay, maybe we could help one other person, but never on the box of why we should say yes was, you're going to have so much fun. You're going to laugh. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night and want to text Andi something funny, but she's blocked you during certain hours, so you can't. You know what I mean? But, like, it never did I think no one ever was going to say it was going to be so much joy.
Right.
And that's the story.
That's the
Right.
best part. That's the only
Right?
reason.
It's-
That's like a reason to do it. Like tears laughing, like crying. So
Right.
that it's like that's a good day when that happens, and that's
Right?
happened way more often in the last 45 days.
Yes. And when people say, tell us your story, like it starts with how you took over the business, but that's
Yeah.
not the story.
And everyone has said that so
Right?
recently. Like, yes, it's a piece, but it's not your story. So
Right.
I don't know how many times we have to be hit over the head with that. I mean, for us to really retain it, it's so funny.
Well, then tell me, knowing that, what is the story?
Well, it's a love story, right?
Yes.
Really between Andy and I, and the love of our dad, yes. But I think the love of, I think our family, really, our two families, my family, her family, and our mom, but like in our extended family, I just think it's a story of pure resilience. But, if the love wasn't there, it would have been easy to walk away 1,000 times. It really is a successful partnership.
Yeah, I think relationships, obviously, like they're so hard. I think it's a story on how beautiful relationships can be. Our families and extended family, like the love and the support and the community, right? Like you say, like the communityness of like just a bigger family, like it's just profound, and you can do anything. And it doesn't have to be family by blood either, right? You can have like a community that's not like blood relatives or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the story is still unwritten. Like, because we are just at the beginning of something incredible. Like, I really feel like this could in some ways be chapter 1 all over again. There's been so many chapter 1s.
Right? It's evolution.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right? Same day delivery, a love story.
Yeah.
So, what are you most excited about in what you're becoming?
I am most excited for my daughters. Like I'm excited for what the future holds for Danielle and I. I'm excited about the whole process and the journey and the shift in perspective of the journey. Like it doesn't have to be so serious and stressful and like make me cry like with anxiety. Like I'm so excited about the new journey and having like the wisdom of the last 12, 13 years.
Right.
That's exciting. And then for my daughters, I love the direction that I'm heading in and the work that I'm doing. And I just feel like they are going to benefit, and what I can teach them just through my behavior and actions,
Mm.
support their journey and their learning, um, and being the positive influence without controlling it. I'm just excited about that.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I love, Danielle, what you said about it's just chapter 1 after chapter 1 after chapter 1. And I feel what came to me was at the beginning of you ladies taking over the business, you were trying to figure out how to tell your dad's story, right? And how to keep that story going.
Yeah.
And then it
Yeah.
has transitioned and
Yeah.
you're telling your own story now.
Right.
And of course, we know we are on the shoulders of giants. Like we know like that's a given, but
Right.
you're also preparing your kids for them telling their own version of the story.
Right.
It's such a gift.
Right.
It's such a gift. And how story is what connects us. Like I've never met you and we're all crying. Like it's just like we're in it. It's
We're in
so
it.
good. And that
I
is
know.
that's how empires are built. That's how these businesses are
Right.
successful and care for, because driver number 14 has a name and a
Yeah.
story, and
Right.
he's adding to your narrative, but you're adding to his narrative and
Right.
his children's story. I mean, we are
Right.
so connected.
Yes.
And we can sometimes, and I'll speak for myself, I can probably wrap my head around that concept more universally than I can in the microcosm of who listens to this podcast and what tidbit someone pulls out of the conversation and takes it to their job as a school teacher, who then says it to a whole bunch of kids in Chicago, or
Right.
whatever. Like, we don't know. And
No.
when we can sit with the enormity of that, but also the beauty of our role and our intention in holding the sacred space of this present moment for where this narrative is going, oh my gosh, it's so powerful.
Right.
It is. I think we feel it, obviously. I think we feel every day against like the feeling gets a little stronger and stronger in a good way.
Right.
It's so good. Is there anything that you want to add, business related, or anything that is on your heart that you would like to add to this conversation? I feel like I hijacked it just to be like a giant love note to you. And
No,
but
it's
I was like,
No,
we were
it was
supposed to talk
incredible.
about XYZ and we didn't even talk about that. So are there any XYZs that you want to mention, or is there anything that you want to elaborate on?
Our passion project we're working on is Unlikely Bosses. It's us getting out there and telling the story of how we were not supposed to be in the position, but probably all along we're meant to be.
Yeah.
And so we did start, Instagram and a podcast where we're inviting people to come in and tell their unlikely story. And so we're really proud of that. That's where we're having all the laughs. That's where we're giggling, and we're having a lot of joy in that.
Oh, I love that for you. And
Yes.
it's so fun because it's, again, community, and
Yes.
you get the opportunity to get out of your own narrative that isn't serving.
right.
And you
100%.
see so clearly for other people, oh my gosh, of course this is going to be amazing and successful. You're not an
Right.
unlikely boss. You're the best equipped person for the
Right.
job.
Right. And that's it. And it has taken on a little life of a community already, and it's been incredible. So we're having a lot of fun with it. A lot.
I love that so much for you. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow it, how they can listen to the podcast, all the good things.
Okay. Instagram at Unlikely Bosses, and then the podcast is on YouTube, Unlikely Bosses.
It takes place in the car because that's where we are
Oh my
doing
gosh, I
deliveries, but
love
it's
that.
just in the car. So it's
It's
like
in the car.
it's very casual, very
Oh,
very
yeah.
basic, but
Yeah.
the stories are good, and it's nice to share other people's unlikely stories too.
I love it. So you're making deliveries while you're recording the podcast.
No, but we probably could have to do.
Yeah, we're just in
Yeah.
the car, either coming out of a meeting or
Yeah.
like in the
But
parking
stay
garage.
tuned. Yes, we probably will deliver a muffler. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I have adored this conversation.
Same.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us. And we were meant to find each other. This was very, very, very special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site, or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.